So assuming that you've watched the introduction video, this is part 2, and we're going to talk about the different things that need to be added to the tank to take care of it. This is going to be probably the most important part. It's also the simplest, so there's not a lot to worry about as long as you're just doing these things on the right schedule. So the things that we have to add are food. Now this is just fish food. I'm not going to have you add any coral food while I'm away. This one here is alkalinity, this one is calcium, and then we're going to be putting fresh water in there. And I'm probably going to have you check the salinity at least once during the week, maybe twice, because sometimes that isn't quite enough to maintain it. I found it's pretty close, but this probe here is going to kind of help you to test that maybe in the middle of the week. So the very first thing I can show you here is going to be the food. So just kind of hinge the lid open like that. Just set it back. Don't leave the lid open for a long period of time because clownfish do jump. And that's not fun to have to retrieve them from down in the corner there. I've done it once. It sucks. So this is your food. All you have to do is take a very small pinch. Okay, just like this, not a lot, and then we're going to sprinkle it on the surface, kind of in the middle of the tank. Some people would shut off the pumps and stuff for that, so it doesn't go everywhere, but my pumps are fighting each other so much with the current that I'm not worried about the food getting sucked in as long as you put it in the middle. If you drop the food over on this end, there's an overflow skimmer here and here that go to those two AquaClear 70s. So make sure you put it on this side. And the intake for the protein skimmer is all the way down in the corner, so you don't have to worry about that sucking it up. So not a ton of food, just enough that they're gonna eat. You don't have to do this every day, but at least every other day. If you do happen to do it every day, I don't think it's really going to hurt anything. But I sometimes go 2 days before I feed them. So that's the first step. Now the second one, this is something that I have been doing 3 times a week. I'm going to try to do this one-handed here. Okay, don't spill this. This is nasty caustic stuff. If you do spill it, it's, not going to be good. Now, over here, I'll show you where I got this from. We've got my long feeding syringe. I use it for a lot of things. You're going to want to suck this stuff up to about the 3 spot, okay? So if we stick this in, stick it in a ways, draw that up to about there. Now, you'll notice there's a bubble in there. It doesn't really look like it's at 3 milliliters, but you got to account for all the liquid that's in that long tube. So without dripping it all over the place, take this up here, stick it in the water. I'll show you what it looks like down here, and just kind of gently puff it out. And that cloud is going to disperse in the current. Pull in more water with the syringe, push it back out because there's a lot of residue. Do that until it pretty much comes clean, which looked like it did pretty good there. Pull it out of the water, suck up some air, because you're always going to have water dribbled in there, and just do that a couple times to blow the excess out. And that can return over here. Critically, we're going to recap the container without losing it everywhere. Okay. The next thing is your calcium. I do this about once a week, and I actually have a tablet in there already. The cool thing about this is it only dissolves as it's needed. So you're not dosing it like this is instantly absorbed into the water. This guy, as the calcium is taken up out of the water by the coral, I'm going to shut the lid here for this. I'll set that right there. As it's taken out by the coral, the block will dissolve. So lift that off. I'm going to pick this guy up. And I like to put it, see, I've got one there that's like half dissolved. I'm just going to leave that there. But it won't hurt to do an extra because, again, it only dissolves as needed. By putting it on this side, I know that when it gets real small, it's not going to end up going into the overflow. The only reason I put that there is I don't remember why I put that there. Anyway, I'm going to drop it in the other side with the other one. So there we go. And then make sure that the lid gets returned. That serves two purposes. One is evaporation. So you can see here I've actually modified an additional cover, whereas this one I haven't done that yet, but I would like to. That decreases the amount of air contact with the surface of the water. So that's going to stop evaporation from going out of control, which would empty that thing much quicker. But it also keeps dust and hair and airborne particles, grease, and stuff out. So that's kind of important too. The last thing is going to be the jug here, and I think I will show you that in the next video. So every day to every other day, 2 to 3 times a week, evenly spaced, and probably once a week, but you can always look in there either from the side, if you can see in there. Not really. In person, it's a little clearer. If you can't see the tablet in there, throw another one in, basically. For now, that will do it, and on to part 3.